All right, so just in general, in order for observational learning to occur, there's kind of a four-step process. So first, it needs to draw your attention. You're more likely to imitate things that are attention grabbing. You also need to be able to have retention, though. You need to be able to maintain and form a memory of what you're seeing so that you can then do it yourself. It's also got to be something you can reproduce. You need to be able to imitate it yourself. If you're just watching someone do some daredevil of a stunt, you're not going to imitate it because you're less likely, you're less able to actually physically carry out the action. And then lastly, you have to be motivated to do the behavior, to imitate. You got to have that internal drive to want to actually carry out those actions. So for instance, if you picture maybe imitation through karate, if you're learning how to do a particular kick, you're more likely to imitate something that sounds really cool when you're doing some fancier, cool looking kick. It's something that you can maintain. You could remember how to do that kick. It's something that you're able to actually imitate. You can reproduce it, and it's something that you want to reproduce. If those four things are present, it becomes easier, and you're more likely to imitate that behavior. Last thing I want to show you, we've touched on this in neuroscience. I had this initially prepared for learning, so we learned that that came a lot earlier in the unit, but we're going to return to mirror neurons. So mirror neurons are kind of why observational learning can occur. So mirror neurons, again, are activated when performing a behavior yourself and when watching someone else perform that behavior. So these types of observational learning is actually going on at the level of your brain, at the level of neurons. Um, so I'm going to show you this video, probably linked down below. That is a cool way of showing you the history and the process of how mirror neurons occur. All right, so I'm going to wrap up now. Hopefully, now that we've talked about it, you might be able to identify and recognize these situations and what type of learning is occurring in these situations. So maybe kind of step through these. I'll leave this as a thought experiment. We can talk about these later if you desire. But think about whether these are operant conditioning or classical conditioning and see if you can pick out what the two stimuli are if it's classical or what the behavior and response is if it's operant. So hopefully now that we've talked about it, some of these make a little bit more sense. And I will wrap up with that. So this was a lot. I recognize this was a lot. So I'll try to dig up some more resources and some more practice questions and ways that we can definitely hone in on these skills. Thank you for sticking with it. If you have any questions, feel free to post on the discussion board. If that's a thing that you guys want to do, I'm open to it. But also it hasn't been used yet, so be the first. Yeah, and I will see you at the next synchronous session to practice it some more. See you later.